Getting beat up by 9 guys at Syracuse, to me, there's not a whole lot of shame.
Welcome to the Heel to the Face podcast.
And this right here,
with your hosts, Jarod Wicks, Brandon Icebreaker Clements, and Paul Boy Green Esden.
It doesn't matter what your name is. And that's the bottom line.
I have received an email.
Don't forget to email the show at heeltotheface@hotmail.com.
Best there is, the best there was, or the best there ever will be.
Brett screwed Brett. Because it's what's best for business.
To be the man, you gotta beat the man. The champ is here. Oh yeah, new day rock. And if you're not down with that, we got 2 more for ya.
Tweet us using the handle @HeelToTheFace.
Woo! Let's get ready to suck it.
The bell is rung, so let's step in the ring with your hosts, Paul, Brandon, and Jarod.
I might as well tag me up with my buddies from Syracuse.
It's the 4th week of July 2017, and we are live from downtown Syracuse, New York, as this is the Heel to the Face podcast. As we are joined this week, as always, with Brandon, the Icebreaker Clements. You can find him on Twitter at Icebreaker21. Paul, Boy Green Esden. You can find him on Twitter as well at BoyGreen25. And myself, Jarod, just Jarod Wicks. But if you're going to follow anything on Twitter, make sure that is our official Twitter account at Heel to the Face. That's where we post brand new episodes and our Twitter question of the week. We're coming off a week with a not-so-eventful Raw, a pretty eventful SmackDown following a pretty eventful Battleground pay-per-view, and I was wrong. I picked Randy Orton, but yet again, he has fallen short, and I believe now he is out of the championship picture. No more rematches this time, but it was in a way that I had no expectations of seeing, and the return of the Great Khali.
Paul, I was right. Jinder Mahal is going to be champion through September. I'm telling you, do not understate this India tour. It's a big thing, and I think this thing with Great Khali, I thought it was great. I mean, we were tweeting during the pay per view, and I thought it was a cool one off. I don't think we're going to see more of Great Khali, but I think maybe it'll help boost things for the India perspective. Paul, where do you stand on that whole thing?
I am just glad that finally Jarod did not predict something. Don't get me wrong, it's pretty cool. It's a cool power to have. We talked about superpowers on the Score 1260. What one would you like to have? And Jarod can already predict the future, so I'm sure that's not one he would pick. But finally, there's a moment where he didn't predict the exact thing to happen. So that was pretty cool to see. I thought it was possible. I wasn't able to be on the show last week. I thought it was possible that Randy Orton could lose to Jinder Mahal, but I thought finally we had reached the point of no return, and I'm like, okay, now they're just going to cut it. And Brandon, you were right that he was going to win this past Sunday, but I don't know about September. I'm still not buying that narrative, the Indian tour. Don't get me wrong that the whole global impact of Jinder Mahal, I feel like it has already rung its course. Not saying that it's obviously now going to go through SummerSlam and the whole John Cena angle, but I think that's where it's going to die.
My thing is with not just the match, but the Great Khali as well. And I was saying this during the pay-per-view before Great Khali came out. WWE is trying to go back on what it taught us. Now, I don't know if our audience is familiar, but I have witnessed over the past couple of years, I can't name specific examples, but Todd Phillips has hosted a top 10 worst matches, top 10 worst superstars, most silliest things, the most ridiculous flubs, the David Arquette's of WCW champions, the name's eluding me, the one who fell through the wall in WCW and his helmet fell off, but, the Shockmaster, a lot of really silly, ridiculous things. And one of the things I've seen not just once, but many times, and they had wrestlers interview this and say how silly and stupid it was the Punjabi prison match. And I remember Todd Phillips, or whoever was hosting this show, was saying, there's a reason why we haven't seen this silly monstrosity since 2007. Whoever was working in WWE at the time, they'd have JBL in the background doing like, his opinion, the Miz doing his opinion, and they was all like had the Benny Hill music in the background while they were talking about it, about how silly and ridiculous this match was, and I don't know who thought of it, and it was somebody who doesn't work here anymore, and for good reason, because they thought of this silly, ridiculous match. It's got such stupid and dumb rules, and like Todd Phillips is like, and I hopefully, just like the Shockmaster and the Gobbledygooker, we'll never see this silliness again, and that WWE, can just look back on it as one of those, parody moments in its history. And then a couple years later, they bring it back, and now they're trying to sell it as like this evil Hell in a Cell style structure. And not just the Punjabi prison, but now we move on to a person that they've said the silliest and dumbest superstars ever, the Great Khali. A couple months ago, or a couple years ago, he was dancing with Natalya Har, and they're just making him out like he's just a big goofball, and he's not a serious contender like they had him originally when he came in. They've kind of started selling him like they did the oddities, if you remember, in the 90s, where they put him in tie-dye t-shirts and had him just dance around the ring and try to be silly, parodies and silly jokes, a lighthearted moment. It's like Rikishi's stink face isn't really exactly, menacing as much as it's just, funny, like the Worm or any of that stuff with Too Cool did. And then they bring him back, and now he's supposed to be menacing and serious. And we're like, no, you just told us he's this big joke. Like a couple years ago, you had him come in when his music would hit during a battle royal, it would be like the comic relief. Like everybody would laugh, like, oh, the Great Khali. He'd like eliminate himself, and then he'd dance, and everybody'd have a good laugh. And then they bring him back in this match that is now a serious match, even though they told us it's a joke. And now this guy is supposed to be serious, even though they made him out to be a joke.
Speaking of jokes.
Yeah,
Go ahead,
biggest
Paul.
thing here is that I would have said it this week had I made it on the show. So I'll just you'll have to force the benefit of trusting my word. Is that when we saw this match, when they did like the preview of dropping the Punjabi on SmackDown Live to prison and showing us what it was going to look like, I was like, this could be as bad as the Bray Wyatt Randy Orton pre-recorded match, because no one can see what the hell is going on. There's this double feature structure where it's impossible to see in the ring, and every time Randy Orton did the classic Randy Orton pose, there was like zero, effect or impact on the WWE Universe because they couldn't freaking see it. So that to me was the crazy, I guess, thing, is that they didn't think or see that coming. Like, we didn't see the Bray Wyatt Randy Orton pre-recorded match reaction coming from the fans who were live there at the stadium. So for me, that was the big thing heading in, and then it ended up being exactly what I thought. Speaking of
jokes, kind of transitioning a little bit. What the hell is the point of Jason Jordan getting this what we call a push? Why the hell is he facing Kurt Hawkins? Is he just going to be squashing people for 3 months? Where do you guys go on that?
I mean,
I don't understand the opportunity thing, because Kurt Angle's like, I gave him an opportunity tonight. I'm like,
Kurt
okay,
Hawkins, oof.
Who are we going to see here? And then Kurt Hawkins, wait, what? Like, he's not Bobby Lashley that you're kind of just trying to display his athleticism and his skill set. We've known this guy's skill set. You're like trying to give a boost to a guy that's been around the entire time. It's not like you're bringing in this new oddity. You're trying to just resell us on a guy that's been there the entire time with this tag team. So if they're going to give him a push, do it against quality competition and be like, oh, wow, look who he just beat, instead of, look, he's really athletic. We already knew that already.
I would agree with that. What about? I would put him in a match with the caliber guys like a Dean Ambrose, somewhere around there. Obviously Dean Ambrose is doing his thing right now, but you want to. Look what they're doing with Elias Sampson. Finn Balor. He's Dean Ambrose. Right now, if I'm looking at it, on the outside, as watching it, on the creative side, it sounds like they got more stock in Elias Sampson than they do on Jason Jordan. Am I looking at this wrong?
Going back to the Jason Jordan thing, I tend to disagree with both you guys. I feel that they do kind of need to sell him. They've sold him. They never sold him before. They sold American Alpha before, and that was a tag team, but they need to now sell him as like I said last week, Paul, you weren't on the show. I thought what they should have done is they should have, before they even made this announcement, started selling him as an independent wrestler by himself, maybe had a feud with the, with Chad Gable, done one of those, Jeff Hardy, Enzo Cass things that's going on where the tag team breaks up, and then they kind of make one of them similar to what they're doing with the Usos, where they give them like a harder character, more of a, a street savvy, thug, or something that would give him some sort of, hardened personality.
Like street cred, so to speak?
Yeah, and then bring him over as Kurt Angle's kid as after we've already been sold on him. Similar to, maybe what they're doing right now with Big Cass. So I do feel that they do need to kind of work him up as a singles competitor. Obviously, we've seen him, and we've seen him maybe by himself a few times as part of American Alpha. But that's as part of that's different. That is a tag team, and it's not a tag team that's made of two single guys. American Alpha is American Alpha. They're a tag team together. It's like the Dudley Boys. When you wanted to turn Bubba Dudley into and TNA did it, they turned him into a single heavyweight champion when all he was just a member of the Dudley Boys. You can't just move him right to the top. You have to have that transition of like, this is a new guy. They do it all the time. I mean, look what they're doing with the Lanas of the world or the Rusevs. When they just go away for a little bit, they have to bring them back like they're brand new.
Well, here's my thing. Speaking of this whole, Jason Jordan facing Kurt Hawkins thing, to me, it's almost reminiscent of when the Perfect 10, Ty Dillinger, my boy, he came up, and one of his first matches was Kurt Hawkins. It's like, I hope they don't project him right where they have Ty Dillinger. I mean, Ty Dillinger is he's kind of just sitting there. I mean, I will say this. They did have a great match, Ty Dillinger and Sami Zayn. I thought they looked good as a tag team. I'd like to see that again, them as tag team partners. I mean, they defeated English and Canellis. But I just, if you're going to have so much hype with this whole Kurt Angle's my father thing, you can't start him off with Kurt Hawkins. You got to put him with somebody else, on the Elias Sampson course. To me, you put him on somebody's level as like a Dean Ambrose, as I was saying. I would do that. Like, what's the point of squashing guys for months on months that are nobodies? I mean, if you're squashing guys that are halfway
this
decent,
isn't months on months. I mean, what is this, 1 week?
I know, yeah, but I mean, you know how that goes, though. I mean, you see people getting. I mean, look how long it took Braun Strowman to really. I mean, he squashed these jobbers for what, months?
Yeah, but I don't think they're going to go that train because of the fact that they're not really trying to sell Jason Jordan as some sort of monster that comes out and just demolishes everybody.
Three jobbers.
But he does need to have that kind of singles competitor look to him for a little bit. And, I'm more than fine with it being I don't want him to rush Jason Jordan any quicker because we were all surprised and for the most part disappointed that it was Jason Jordan who is now going to get this like heavyweight main event style push. So I definitely don't want him to rush it. 1 week ago I was disappointed it was Jason Jordan. So pardon me if I'm at the same time with that disappointment, not wanting to see him in my SummerSlam main event versus Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I mean, I don't know. It just frustrates me. I mean, and it's the same thing with this Big Cass thing. All right, Enzo's already gotten whooped down enough times. You're showing. I mean, okay, he did the same thing he's done the last couple weeks. Okay, he beat up he beat up Enzo and then he beat up Big Show. Okay, let's move on to other things. Like, if you're gonna project Big Cass as a future heavyweight champion, it's time to move things up. Now he needs to start facing. I mean, not to diss on Big Show or Enzo, because Big Show's he's way past his prime, and Enzo is Enzo to me is he's more known. He's not the best wrestler. He's really good on the mic, but I'm gonna get nothing against those guys. But it's time for him to get real competition in my book. So I'm curious to see what they're gonna do.
Did you just say that Big Cass is good on the mic?
No. I said Enzo. Enzo is on the mic. Enzo. No, I was saying Enzo is good on the mic. He's not that great of a wrestler. Big Show, he's a big guy. He's got the weight loss thing going, but he's not. Big Show is not what he used to be. I mean, if you look at him, yes, he's a giant, this and that. He's not a guy you're gonna have somebody build on where you're gonna okay, he demolished Big Show and he's ready for the big time. I just think that whole thing, that's another example of they gotta start moving things along. Maybe they should start by changing his music. I still think that Big Cass music is putting me to sleep. I don't know about you guys, but every time I hear it, I just want to sleep.
Yeah, I feel that they're kind of being a little slow with the Big Cass thing, with the moving.
He's not horrible on the mic. I mean, I'm not saying he's Enzo. Enzo's great on the mic. I'm not saying he's a fantastic worker on the mic, but he's not bad. I would say he's serviceable. I mean, it's good enough. I mean, Braun Strowman's really taken strides since he's gotten on the mic. I mean, let's push things forward a little. I'm not saying major push right away, but, we got to start pushing things forward. Let's stop doing this. Oh, Enzo's going to attack him again, and Big Show will be there to back him up. I think they got to stop using that. I think that thing's already done.
Now, if we're going to talk about what they're going to do with somebody, what are they doing with Rusev? I mean, this is not the first time they've done this. This is like the second time where they have him just like lose to John Cena. And every time I think they're going to do something with him, and then you have him lose his first match back. And it's not just that it was predictable. Obviously, everybody knows John Cena's winning 90% of his matches, but it's at the expense of then what do you do